Hi, this is Clint with Stitser Properties, and today we are talking with Casady, the agent on fire. 2020 was a huge year for Casady. For all of you out there that are the leaders of young families like myself and both Casady, look, we all want to achieve professionally, all want to achieve as parents, as family leaders, physically in our body, we want to take care of ourselves. There's all these areas of life that we want to keep pushing forward. And gosh, 2020 is a year that Casady just crushed it in so many areas, and I'm so proud of everything she achieved. So, just to share a little bit about my first meeting with Casady when we started talking about her joining Stitser Properties and the like. The biggest part from my perspective was helping just lay it all out there. Like, what are all the challenges? What are all the realities that Casady faces as the mom of young kids? With a husband who travels for work, and let's just get it out on the table, and then let's build a plan around it. Casady, tell me a little bit about what it was like for you, over the past few years as a real estate practitioner.
Well, I've been a realtor for 12 years, and over those 12 years, some years were really good, and some years were really not.
Mhm.
I feel like my main struggle was that I never really knew where the next client was coming from. So although I felt like I had a successful career, I was proud of what I had done. I felt that it was unintentional and that I was just kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying trying to make sure that, I was working, that I was doing what I needed to do and taking care of my family, taking care of all the sports and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All the things we do as parents, right?
Yeah.
And also, trying to have this career that I felt I could grow so much larger than I was doing.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's mainly how I'd been feeling for several years. A few years ago, I even thought maybe this career isn't for me. Maybe even though I love what I do, I feel spread way too thin. I cannot keep up. And
Yeah.
so, I tried a couple things. I talked to my husband, Max, about other things I could do to still help support the family, but maybe not, you know, be gone so much mentally and physically. But after even just attempting and thinking about some other things I could be doing, really, I just realized that this is what I love to do. In my core, like this is the career for me. So I knew I needed to get organized and intentional. I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I knew that those were the things that I needed to do in order to have a career that I felt good about and a family, to be able to still be here for my kids.
So I was just about to look it up. Do you remember what you sold in what our 2019 to 2020 performance difference was?
Yeah. So in 2019, I sold just over 5 million in volume. It
Hmm.
was the worst year I'd had in quite some time.
Right.
And I really felt like I was failing. It had come to the epitome of just like, what am I doing is how
Yeah.
I felt. So yeah, so 2019, I did just over 5 million, which is a great number. Just for me, I wasn't seeing the growth that I wanted
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
at that time.
Sure.
Yep. And
Yeah.
in 2020, we closed just over 9 million.
Nice. And a few more contracts carried over, right?
Yeah, yeah. Few over 10 million carried over into January. So
Wow.
very, very cool. A huge, doubled what I did
Yeah,
in
double
2019.
from year 11 to year 12, right? So
Right.
I mean, there was opportunity for huge growth. Okay, so if we take quick inventory, what you told us was, I'm busy like crazy, handling all the responsibilities of all different areas of life.
Yeah.
True. You've been in it for a long time, but never really with a high degree of certainty of what was coming next, but you just knew you were working super hard. You
Yeah.
felt like, hey, there was really an opportunity to become intentional and more organized in what you do.
Yep.
2019, you did just over $5 million in volume, which relative to your past, still good, but
Yeah.
not to the potential that you believe that you had the opportunity to. 2020, you wrote over $10 million worth of contracts, 9 million closed in 2020, and then some of that is closing now here in 2021.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit, what do you think changed for you in 2020? What was your experience that resulted in this double in a single year?
So the funny thing is that doing that 5 million in 2019, I felt like I was working enough to, like, I should have been closing 20 million. Like, I was
Yeah.
so busy all the time, like, just like I said, scatterbrained, just kind of trying so hard to get everything in line. And so that 5 million to me felt like, man, I feel like I worked and I could have done 20 million, right?
It was a
So when
grind.
grind. So then, so then we talked about a lot of the accountability. I had been in a lot of classes in the past where, they were like, this is what you need to do, right? And you take those ideas and you leave the class and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then you don't, whatever happens and you don't do those things, or you don't have the system set up in order to accomplish those things without paying a bunch of money and having the time to get organized. I mean, it's hard to do that without the accountability.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing with this brokerage, with your brokerage, is that the main accountability that I felt like I was being held to. I mean, you don't want to show up and be like, I didn't do my stuff,
Right. Yeah.
It's saying like, okay, Casady, you're going to get your client, you're going to get your sphere organized. We're going to know who your friends are, and then we're going to intentionally give them a call, go to lunch, do these things that you're doing already, but without intention. You're going to make sure we don't miss anyone. And so I feel like that changed over the last year for me, feeling like my career was lucky to intentional. Where I was like,
Nice.
okay, this is the organization that I needed and that I didn't know how to do on my own. I didn't know how to do it. Even after so many years in real estate, I didn't know where to start and I didn't know how to go about it, on a weekly basis. What do I need to do? And I feel like after this last year, at this point, we've created goals for the next year, but I feel like I could easily double even the goal if I wanted to, right? And so that is so crazy that it's like, I mean, I could do 5 million or 25 million if I wanted to.
Right.
We just have the numbers laid out and we do the things we need to do, and then we create this for ourselves. So, I mean, I think that that's pretty exciting. We were able to create goals where I feel like I can still be successful and take care of my family. And I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind that we make it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, I freaking want to cry right now. Like, seriously, you have so much power and confidence within yourself right now. Like, if I wanted it, I could do it. But I do what I want to do, and I know that the amount that I'm targeting and the effort that it's going to take me to get there allows me to do these other areas of life. Like, what a freaking wonderful place to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's powerful,
It's
right?
powerful. Yeah.
So here's the fun part, right? You said, hey, for how much work I did in 2019, I feel like I did like $25 million worth of work to achieve that production, right?
Yeah.
How much work do you feel like you put out in 2020 for your $10 million in contract origination, $9 million in closings? Was it the same? Was it more? Was it less? Tell me about that.
I really feel like it was less. It took me some time to get everything organized, which felt like the same, right? We were organizing, we were in it, like in the trenches of this is what we need to do to get where we want to be. As soon as that was finished, I feel like it was probably 50 to 75%. I mean, like it is life-changing. My family talks about it, like, Casady, you're just a lot more free, right? You're just able to do these things. We're able to give up a little bit of the power and the craziness that you were harboring because you didn't know. You didn't know what was coming next. And you're still able to serve your clients and your friends and do it in a much more productive way, to where you're happier here because we know that, we know what's on the horizon. We know that the next thing is coming. There's not that stress and that hamster wheel of just like, I'm just going to keep running and something's going to happen, right? We've taken that away. And I think that's provided my family a better mom.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See? Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Right? I mean, that's like the idea of my career before was lucky. My career now is intentional, right?
Correct.
And so the work effort, 100%. There is an installation period of building the machine, right? And building the machine, and installing things in the way that's true to you. Because not everyone's do everything exactly the same, but we identify those things and put them in place. And once they're in place, you just follow the plan, right? You follow the plan and you work within the plan, and you stay aware of where you want to go. So, Cassie, this is rad. Thank you.
It's so rad. I will tell you that I have never gone into January in 11 years up until this time. I've never gone into January knowing how the year was going to be, ever. I've set goals. I've never known what it was going to be. And to be able to have worked this plan for a year or under a year, but, kind of worked it maybe 9 months, 9 full months, and to go into January with clientele, closings out in the next, 6 months. We've got closings for the next 6 months already is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It is such a relief and just amazing that you just literally follow the plan and it works.
So let's play this dragon. Okay, whether or not this happens, but let's just ask this sincere question, like maybe even a little uncomfortable. The market's crazy hot. Do you think it's because of a hot market you have this much certainty, or do you feel like it's because of what you're doing? If things were to change, do you still feel good?
I still feel fantastic. I think our crazy hot market is, it's amazing, but it's a hard market out there.
Yeah.
We do not have the inventory we need to actually sell homes. It's about keeping those relationships so that people are thinking about you when it's time to buy. And I think that doing the work and following the plan is also a way to attract business to yourself that you're not even out trying to get. I just think putting your mind in the right place attracts, what you're looking to do. So I feel that for sure. I feel a confidence in whatever we just went through COVID in March. Every single one of my escrows fell out.
Right.
Who knew what that year was going to be, right? And there's still confidence at the end of that. We're not at the end of COVID, but the end of the year that happened. And I don't think the market's gonna be able to define who I am as an agent ever again. So
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.